Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is Maria Truder, welcome back to Not For Broadcast, one of my favourite games of 2020, and what a journey this game has been on, because about a year ago, January 2020, I played the first part of Not For Broadcast, because what they sat down and said was, hey, let's make an FMV game. Not many of them floating around these days. We'll make a really cool newsroom simulator where the actual narrative is done with, actual actors in a studio that will record. Then the player gets to edit it together. It's going to be really fun. And we'll release the first episode, and then through updates, we'll just release more as we go, as we record more in 2020. So I sure hope nothing happens in 2020 that would stop a whole bunch of actors getting together in a recording studio to produce more update. Oh no. So yes, coronavirus happened, meaning it's taken till now, January 2021, for the next full episode that actually deals with the real story of an election, a new government, some political stuff. But bless them, they have been trying so damn hard to find ways to keep little updates coming through. So in universe, there's a lockdown special, though the lockdown special in this universe was caused by teddy bears malfunctioning and going insane, though you actually kind of woke up from a dream at the end of that. So that might not exist in continuity. And we did the telethon, which was, going back to old footage and cutting together an old telethon from many decades ago. So I guess that doesn't really have a meaningful place in continuity, because even the ads were the original ads from many, many years ago. So, okay, it's January 2021 now, as you've probably noticed, and we have finally got ourselves the next full episode. But let's just have a quick refresh to make sure we're all on the same page. So, this is a newsroom. I've got to edit it, and the key thing you've got to do is figuring out what ought to be on screen. So, there's no title sequence yet, so probably, when the time comes, we ought to have, the announcer on screen, which is going to be lovely. Use these buttons to change over between them, but then a lot of other stuff happens too. So you've got to censor people live if they're swearing, but of course there's what's actually going on live and what's being broadcast on a couple of seconds delay, so you've got to make sure you're censoring on the actual live release to the public. We'll get to that if it comes up. You've also got yourself, interference over here, brand new system, which is absolutely lovely, together with, you got to manage the power, you got to manage the adverts down over here. Some people might call you at various points, and in a moment, of course, this guy is, here we go. Just as soon as he's done talking, we will go over to the intro sequence, because as soon as he's done with his business in a second, here we go, lovely. So now we go over to that because, he's having a drink, he's having his makeup on, so you don't want that on TV. So make sure the right thing is on. Make sure you change around for a bit of variety. In musical numbers, make sure you're changing around in time with the music. A lot of things happen at once, it gets very stressful very, very quickly indeed. The basic actual main story that we haven't heard any updates on for a while is, yes, there was a new political party, advance, it all sounded lovely, but things were starting to go a little bit on the wrong side. Like, they were a little bit over-enthusiastic about euthanasia, say, that I'm guessing is going to be a problem. They might have been a little bit authoritarian in a couple of ways, so we'll see where that's going. So I'm guessing this episode's going to be about, the backlash. You can also see there down the bottom right, the new interference system that's a bit more complicated than the old one. You've now got to match not just the positioning, but also the wavelength by kind of twiddling that little knob over on the left. Anyway, let's dive in, see what we got. So, day 154, A Rude Awakening, and yes, I was technically electrocuted in continuity at the end of the... was that the end of the first episode or at the end of... lockdown. I think that might have been at the end of the first episode, which would suggest that, yes, the entire lockdown episode was just a dream I had in a coma because I was electrocuted at the end of episode 1. As for telethon, who bloody knows where that fits in? Don't worry about it, it's fine. So, yes indeed, we have now got ourselves a whole bunch of family, and I'm guessing we're going to be reminded who our family is. So, there's Sam, my wife, and Chris, who I believe was my wife's brother. Now, in the first episode, he wanted to get out of the country because he didn't like the new policies, but the only way to do that was to borrow my passport, but I said no, because, that's a pretty damn serious crime. And I have kids I need to take care of, so I said no, and he's clearly still holding a bit of a grudge. And my mother's floating around too, but she's not looking so good. She seems distracted. So I'm guessing that, yes, one of the big things in episode 1 was the advance party might have just been a a little bit too keen on offering the right to die to old folks, to the extent that some of them might have felt under pressure to consent to going to one of the euthanasia facilities. I think they were called transition centres in this universe, so I'm guessing that's where we're going. And time moves on to day... Are we going into 180? Yes, 180. So 6 months after the election, a burden to bear. And Sam is sitting at the table, bills and papers. Okay, so financially we're not in a great position. We look at the door to the pantry, now converted into my mother's bedroom. Okay, so my mum's staying with me, but I don't really have space if she's staying in the pantry, a room that logically, you know, wouldn't have a radiator or a window, for example. So that can't be nice. We've been doing our best, but I think Cassandra really needs a nurse to look after her. And suddenly the bills are all you can see. I've been staring at the numbers all night. There's just no way we can afford it. I'm so sorry. So if we can't afford a nurse, then I'm going to work under the assumption there's only really one option. Either she stays here and suffers, or she has to go to a transition centre because that's free, but yeah, the downside of that seems to be there's no, like, state nursing homes where you just get to stay. It's either you get no help whatsoever, or you go to the transition centres, have a lovely time, they're really nice according to the adverts, but you don't last long. Tomorrow you'll need to tell the kids, yes indeed, so Charlie needs to hear that Grandma's going away to a farm in Peru, where unfortunately there are no phones. And there never will be. And time moves on again, so yes, I'm going to work under the assumption there might be a bit of a backlash on day 232 against the whole... Culling is such a strong word, but yes, culling the elderly, specifically the poor elderly, because anyone wealthy enough to afford private, care homes or nurses or whatever, they're fine. It's only the poor old people who are going to the transition centres, and okay, maybe culling's the right word after all. Day 232, the silence. So here we go. Oh, that's open, meaning we're going to have a musical number, and I need to pick the headlines when the time is right as well. Now, first things first, just need to turn everything on and go over to 1. Here we go.
Don't worry, Kath, it'll be all right.
No, it won't be all right, Kath. Pack up your weapons of optical destruction and get out.
You realise you're beginning to sound like me?
I mean it, Kath.
Stay where you are, Kath. Jenny?
This is not Jenny's decision, Jeremy, or yours.
It'll be all right. I'll talk to Boatswain.
Oh, good. You can tell him I'll return his wife's casserole dish at our dinner next week.
Alright, so my co-anchor is not thrilled. And while that's happening, let's pick some adverts. Alright, so, yes, let's learn about advance. And sports board. Everyone on sports board, great sport. And that's misspelt. Let's go for the misspelt thing. Oh, that's slightly on fire. Okay.
Just stop being so high-mighty and do your job.
You'll have me fired too.
Don't tempt me.
Oh, I think she might be a bit of a stooge of the
Good
government,
evening.
potentially.
I'm Megan Wolfe.
And I'm Jeremy Dawson. Our main headlines tonight.
The establishment strikes back. The World Council has agreed today to impose punitive sanctions on the people of this country.
The sanctions, which are broad-ranging, include restrictions on the supply of oil and gas, food, clothing, and even some medicines. But how should we react?
Let's go for neutral.
What do you think about all these sanctions?
I doubt it make a lot of difference, Pet. I've lived through 2 world wars and I smoke 40 a day. And if that ain't killed me, I doubt this will either.
Thanks, Patrick. Fascinating stuff.
Popular Prime Minister Julia Salisbury has released a reassuringly brave statement in response to the World Council's controversial announcement.
This international declaration is nothing short of outrageous. We are a democratically elected government with massive popular support. We do not recognise these sanctions, and we encourage other socially progressive nations of the world to both resist and ignore them. Advance have struck fear into the heart of the international community by showing that it is possible to have radical change for the betterment of the many. And whilst I wish we could improve other countries as much as we have our own, we do not rely on the help of others to thrive. This country is entirely self-sufficient. We are a team, now more than ever. And this team is on your side. Thank you.
Okay, bit of an international pariah, apparently.
Defiant stuff. But what do you, the public, think of our government's stance?
Oh, that's got to be unpopular.
I was wondering if you could tell me what you think of the government.
What? That shower of iridescent pricks, punishing success and rewarding laziness, they're taking this country down the bloody Swanee. And it's not just me that thinks so. My wife Iris, she agrees.
I was kind of assuming you'd be annoyed about the sanctions, but whatever.
Over to you, fellas. Global mega corporation Remington's Fist today announced that trials have successfully completed on their groundbreaking male contraceptive product, Responsibility.
The drug has been passed by the government for general release, but the small print warns that, in rare cases, side effects can include blurred vision, enlarged genitalia, and increased risk of stroke. No double entendre intended.
Oh, there's good and bad stuff there. Happy?
Patrick?
So what are your feelings on the new contraceptive pill?
I think it's a great idea. A big step forward for equality. Sophia Remington is the best thing that has ever happened to that company.
A momentary lapse of reason? Commuters across the capital found themselves somewhat bemused by the latest stunt by controversial protest group Disrupt.
In a baffling start to the day, commuters found performers outside every major station, all dressed and posed identically. Whether we're supposed to be amused or intimidated is anybody's guess, Jeremy, but most commuters didn't even stop to notice.
That's got to be neutral then.
As long as it's not some grand contemporary dance, it's probably harmless.
But how do we all feel about Disrupt and their eclectic tactics? Robin found out.
Do you have any feelings about Disrupt?
It's all a bit noisy for me, really. As Mother always said, leave the rebelling to the rebels, Malcolm.
Bubbling up, intrepid scientist Dr. David Wong and Dr. Ingrid Svorsborg-Hawkinsford today sent a blueprint of the escape craft in which they hope to finally leave Dante's taint.
With expert opinions of the plan running the gamut from optimistically engineered to that looks like something my granddad made in his shed, it sounds like the unfortunate team are going to need all the thoughts and prayers they can get.
So what should we think about the escape plan? Patrick Bannon again.
So I'd imagine that you think this is a great plan.
Oh my God! How did you know? It's a brilliant idea. I hope everyone gets behind them so that they know that we're with them. In spirit, of course. I can't actually go diving because I'm scared of the salt.
That's fine, they've got a submarine.
I am not a number. Applications finally opened today for the new Advanced Team membership cards, a scheme by the government to allow fast access to all the new public services being introduced daily.
The team membership cards are entirely voluntary, but will be recognised as legal identification by all major organisations, including the police, banks and, vitally, pubs and bars.
And of course, there's no charge, Jeremy.
I mean, I carry ID, I carry a driving licence, and I've already got a national insurance number, so I don't really see a massive issue with it.
Team membership cards? Oh yeah, fantastic. I'm applying today. I mean, why wouldn't you? What are these protesters doing that they don't want us to know who their names are? Besides, have you seen the savings you can get? I'm getting one for the little one as well. Oh, how adorable. Yeah, gonna be a proper little team member, aren't you? Yes, he smiles. He smiles.
Okay, that was a bit of a nightmare.
Back of the net, popular sports personality Johnny Hounsleeves and his fiancée Tiffany Lamour was spotted out today doing a little shopping for what many are already calling the greatest wedding ever.
We can only assume that Tiffany's latest show, My Teenage Secretions, has sold better than expected, as by the looks of things, the whole affair's about to become more expensive than Lil C's shoe collection.
I don't know who that is.
But what should your opinion be of this extravagant display of wealth?
Disgusting.
Wise words there.
Later tonight, in a bit of a switcheroo, it'll be Jeremy in the culture chair, spitting rhymes with popular rapper Jay Zus. And then we'll both be chatting with a familiar team of thespians set to take the nation by storm again.
That's all coming up on tonight's
National
Nightly
Nightly
News.
I mean, okay, I'm sure the ID cards are going to be a complete flipping nightmare, but I do actually, carry around a driving license that I use for ID, and I do have a national insurance number already. I'm not sure functionally it's that. It's gonna be a nightmare, but okay, it's gonna be fine anyway. Oh, hang on, what am I supposed to be? Oh, wait, what? Why are you unhappy with me? Oh, it's the interference. Sorry, I missed those Yes, I know. I'm sorry. I was talking about the things.
The World Council today agreed that punitive and potentially illegal sanctions should be imposed upon this country. The sanctions, which come into effect immediately, aim to stop the flow of food, fuel, and even some medicines from reaching your pockets.
Tonight, we have guests from across the continent to discuss this unprecedented situation. For Advance, Peter Clement is at his home in Lamfordshire. Are you there, Peter?
Yes, I can hear you, Jeremy. Thank you for having me.
A momentous day, Prime Minister. Are you shaken?
Oh, I don't scare that easy, I'm afraid, old son. And neither do the people of this country.
Well, joining us is Ivan Vodovich, Foreign Minister of Urkistan. Ivan, thank you for being here.
It's a great pleasure. You, Megan Wolf, are like strongest guard of Labour camp who wake up inside body of crazy, expensive prostitute. In my country, you will be worshipped as a god.
Okay. Minister, as one of those arguing most strongly for these sanctions, how do you feel about Advance's defiant stance?
Advance is like man who think he have big career in movies land, when actually he in dirty sanitarium, screaming at mirror and holding tiny penis in hand.
He's clearly not from Svenland, and we have some of the cleanest mental health care facilities in the continent. Yeah.
And welcome to Svenland's Minister of Mojo, Björk. I'm sorry, we don't appear to have your surname.
It's just Björk, yeah. We don't use things like socially divisive as surnames here.
Minister?
It's just Björk, yeah.
Right, Björk. Your country spoke in favour of Advance at the World Council today, but you were noticeably absent when it came to the actual vote.
Well, what a surprise. The hippies didn't show up for the fight.
Actually, that's quite racist, because if you must know, we were going to go to the whole, voting, yeah, but it's actually the Festival of Feuerland here at the moment, where we honor the old generations. So, we all had to work our grandparents' Galicia whilst the vote was happening, and that's a really, really time-consuming process, actually.
You're like a sissy man. You had this expression, sissy man, is like man with tiny penis who like to wash more than once a week.
Actually, that's quite homophobic, yeah, because...
Oh, stop winding him up, Ivan. We're not back at the Grange now. Sorry, Jeremy. Ivan and I used to play golf back in my media days.
Yeah, he always wins.
Nothing gives him greater pleasure than grinding people's gears. The more publicly, the better.
Peter, you're like man with tiny penis who think he have tiny penis, but actually he discovered that... Oh, could it be? No, it's tiny penis.
Ivan's just worried that when the rest of the world sees how well we're doing, they'll notice all that dosh that he's got squirreled away. Because that's what these sanctions are, Megan. They're the last pathetic gasp of an establishment in collapse. Wolves at the gates, Ivan, old mate.
Good. You can join others on my wall.
Actually, in Svenland, we have serious animal welfare legislation. And my friend Helge, she got arrested for killing a butterfly that was hovering over her fuel thing. I mean, in English, jam sandwich.
I used to know a girl called Jam Sandwich. She was a right cracker too. I wonder what became of her.
We seem to be wandering a little from the news here.
That's human interest, Jeremy. The real people behind the headlines and all that. So if you're watching, Jan, give us a call. Yeah. Let's see if we can't organise a reunion.
Crash, I'm not sure about that. I'll have to run it past Mrs. Clement first, eh?
Peter, you're like man trying to empty ashes of mistresses into oncoming vein. Soon you have tiny penis and beard full of secrets.
In Svenland, we don't really go in for all that restricted monogamy stuff here. We're kind of fluid, actually.
Okay, well, it seems that we are running out of time.
Yes, so before we go to the break, briefly, if you would, gentlemen, with the people of this country facing shortages and power
possible shortages and power outages.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Possible shortages and power outages. Can you summarise your thoughts for us, Minister Björk?
Well, from here, yeah, you all look a bit stupid really arguing about outdated divisive concepts like money. In Finland, we replaced currency with a system of bodily fluids back in the 1970s, and that's really hard to sanction, actually.
Thank you, Minister Vodovich.
Your country is like man who think he invented perfect trap for giant mutant hairy bear. when really he's just standing in field
Holding his tiny penis, yes. Thank you, Minister. And finally, Prime Minister Clement.
Let me talk to your viewers here, Jeremy. Don't worry, everybody. Don't be afraid. Don't even lose a wink of sleep. We knew the rest of the world would react this way, and we're ready. As my old man used to say, you can't make a shite pie without blocking a few toilets.
Thank you, Prime Minister.
Reassuring words there.
We'll be back.
After these messages.
1 minute back.
And we go over to the ad. Okay, so she's a government stooge now, and I feel like that was very harsh to poor old Scandinavia. Let's see what the advert says.
This territory is changing fast, and that makes other countries uncomfortable. But that won't stop us. And we intend to make sure that in these challenging times, every citizen gets their fair share of the abundant, nutritious food we grow right here in the territory.
This is important. New government censorship should show up in blue. Same as regular censoring. Keep an eye out for the advanced blue waveform.
Oh, we'll be thinking about that.
Behind. So you can carry on coming together to enjoy life and make wonderful memories. Because we've shown our international friends what's possible when we all pool our resources and...
Okay, so we're culling the elderly, the international community hates us, and there's food shortages and censorship. Okay, basically just start taking a negative view on everything, because, oh, everything's going a bit on the wrong side over there. Also, I'm guessing he might be about to have a breakdown on air, potentially. Oh, here comes the musical number. That's a musical number. Love it. Who's speaking first, by the way? Oh, shit, who's speaking?
Welcome back. I'm Megan Ward. Later, we have an exclusive first look at a theatrical sensation everyone's going to be talking about. But first, it's time to go over to the culture spot with lovely old Jeremy Donaldson, who's joined by a very special guest. Jeremy.
Thanks, Megan. I have the honour and privilege of being joined by hip-hop royalty. He's been called the son of the streets and the father of truth. Not sure how that works, but whatever. Let's welcome Jesus!
Thanks, Jeremy. Yeah, it's a real honour to be here on your show, The News. You know, as a kid on the streets, I used to watch you through a window of the shop, so to be here right now is crazy.
Oh, Jeremy, that was a nice thing to
Quite
say.
the journey to be here today. Can you tell us about it?
Well, you know, I try not to, well, you know, the past is the past, and I don't like to dwell on it.
I understand.
But yeah, man, the streets is all I remember. Like, my mother donated me to a charity shop soon after I was born. Elderly lady took pity on me. You know, she let me sleep on a pile of crime fiction until I taught myself how to walk.
Wow, that's quite the childhood.
And she died, died tragically. Right there in my arms, man. You know, I remember a tear falling as she laid there next to the used homeware. And in that moment, I became a child of the streets. I was just 18 months old.
What a tale. What a tale. You're known for your direct and honest lyrics. Was your style informed by your troubled past?
Well, like I said, I try not to talk about it. It's just, it's just too hard.
Of course.
But my first album is about the story of the first 4 times I stole, so I wouldn't starve. A small group of infants came to see me as their de facto leader. They called me Mr. Cheese Slice. Anyway, we were like a family.
So it would seem. Recently, you've been quite outspoken about the government.
Yeah, fuck the government. Fuck Advance. Fuck Peter Clement.
What is it that you object to so vehemently?
Well, you know, they stole from us. They're taking our money and spending it, man.
Redistributing it. Actually, homelessness has been all but eliminated in the last couple of months.
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
Surely that's a cause close to your heart?
Yeah, nah, of course, man. Very much so. I just mean, like, why do I have to pay for it, you know?
You don't. People have been rehoused on property seized from the historically wealthy. And that couldn't have been you, could it?
Look, yeah, I worked hard to be here. I built this from nothing, and I deserve to be rewarded for that.
Would you say you worked harder than, say, a farmer or a care worker?
He's got a point.
I don't know. But if people are taking something from my music, choose to value it, buy it, who's to say I don't? And no one can take that away from me.
Not even to help, say, vulnerable children? Mr. Cheeseless.
What is it you're trying to say?
I just don't understand where you've placed yourself politically. I mean, is it ideological or is it tactical?
Well, it's more of
Or
like...
maybe it's hereditary.
Stop trying to tie me in knots with your words, Jeremy. I let the music speak for itself. And the people agree with me.
Well, that remains to be seen. But you have given me a very easy segue out of a conversation that I promise you was much more painful for me than it was for you. So here he is with his hit song, Mrs. Ludlow's Tears.
Oh, no. I'm going to do something a little different. It's a new single I've been working on.
Oh, so this is unapproved, is it?
Yeah. You love it.
Excellent. Don't worry, we've got a state-of-the-art censorship system. What's the worst that could happen? So here he is with a new song. Aren't we lucky? It's Jesus!
Oh, I like this new anti-establishment lad. I like this a lot.
You're gonna pay up. You're gonna pay back.
Well, we're all different races from many different places. At any given moment, only one could be the greatest. So you can feel elation from your participation. Still two leaders in this motherfucking nation. Now we're getting sanctioned, talking about expansion. Why does Julius require a massive fucking mansion? So fuck all your schemes. I don't need your freaky team, and I don't need your help to achieve my fucking dreams. So don't make a fuss when you find you're one of us. Yeah, every single one of you's a bit Jesus. And you can call me crazy, cause no one ever pays me. But I won't waste a lifetime being motherfucking lazy. I may be inventive, my taste may be expensive. But why would I get out of bed with no fucking incentive? Although it's contravention of your obvious intention. I like to eat a little of the fruits in my invention. You make us the same, but we're not all the same. All our dreams, all our schemes, all our means are not the same. The best of the praise of the crest of the wave. Cause we're only equal people when we're motherfucking slaves. Take this fact, gonna stain it red. Gonna slam it into Peter Clemens' motherfucking head. Cause he's thick as shit, he's got a job he's unfit for. It's time to storm the castle with a motherfucking pitchfork. So this is for the snub ones, the pushed and the shoved ones, the folks who feel the burden of their motherfucking loved ones. Ones who had plenty like a motherfucking Bentley. The ones who now finding that their bank accounts are empty. The ones of aspiration who had to flee a nation. The ones who built a business out of dreams of perspiration. There's all sorts of people, the good and the evil. It only takes a glance to see we're not all equal. You make us the same, but we're not all the same. All our dreams, all our schemes, all our means are not the same. And the best of the praise serve the rest of the ways. Cause we're only equal people when we're motherfucking slaves. Gonna take this fact, gonna stain it red. Gonna slam it into Peter Clemens' motherfucking head. Cause he's thick as shit, he's got a job he's unfit for. Time to storm the castle with a motherfucking pitchfork. Get out of your seats, get your asses in the streets. Set a fire in the building, let them feel some fucking heat. Take your hate to go getters, no squilling bed getters, and burn them on the powers of advances fucking letters. Gonna take his facts, gonna stain it red. Gonna slam it into Peter Clemens' motherfucking head. Cause he's thick as shit, he's got a job he's unfit for. Time to storm the castle with a motherfucking pitchfork. Chase that dream, you don't need a fucking team. And advances little dances aren't as harmless as it seems. Cause they're stale and corrupt, then your anger erupt. Let your hearts and your minds and your fists to destruct.
Okay, so we're not going to be censoring what the government wants me to censor. That's all absolutely... Oh, we're not focusing on anything. Okay, that's fine.
Jesus there with his new song. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I may not agree with you, but I'd just like to offer you an apology. I've just been told that there was some kind of issue upstairs, and an attempt was made to censor some of your lyrics.
What? Are you joking?
I'd just like to say to you and everyone at home that this was a mistake.
This is absolutely ridiculous. I cannot believe this.
Here at the National Nightly News, we pride ourselves on remaining neutral, unbiased, and independent of any outside interference. You have my word. We will never censor ideas. Back to you, Megan.
Well, a bit of dangerous language there, sorry about that. Well, thank you to little Jeremy Donaldson for providing our culture spot. Coming up, we'll be speaking to a couple of familiar faces about their upcoming dramatic outing. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
Activate the ads.
Jenny, this is fucking outrageous!
Thank you so much. If you could just come with me.
No, this is ridiculous. Whom do I speak to lodge a complaint?
This is just a mix-up, I'm sure. Now, if you come with me, I really do have to ask you to
trust
leave
me.
it.
My father's going to hear about this.
I understand. This is unbelievable, Megan!
I don't know what you're talking about, Jeremy.
Oh dear. So, yes, the game's kind of all over the place. They're trying very hard to... Oh, blimey, what, hello?
Fixing that old VCR. Popping a new tape. Last ad break.
Oh yeah, we just need to take this one out. That's fine. We'll just replace that with something else, and we'll shove in... Yes, the pill! The male pill, just because responsibility is just a marvellous flipping, marvellous thing. And, okay, then we've got some lovely sports board over there. Yes, so it definitely, it randomly sways between sides, which is interesting. Alright, so what have we got coming up next?
Megan, Jeremy, you remember Mr. Algebra?
Vividly.
And Mr. Harris, and this is Ms. Radin.
What?
Philippa, please.
You're back together again, eh? Who'd have thought it?
Perhaps a lower-order demon.
Yes, it is awfully exciting, isn't it?
Right, okay then. We're going live in 10 seconds, opening on camera 1.
1, got it, thanks.
Right.
5, 4, 3.
Welcome back, and no, you're not mistaken. Sitting across from us are some very familiar faces.
You really are too kind, Megan. It was only a yogurt commercial, but I'm still proud of it.
Here to talk about his new show, we're joined by National Treasure Tommy Harris, the National Theatre's Philippa Radin, and National Deficit Jeff Algebra.
It's so lovely to have you all. Tommy, would you like to tell us about the show?
You know what? I'd bloody love to. It's about me. It's about my life.
And where did the idea come from?
So, right, picture this. Their legs akimbo, mid-session, sweat is pouring out of me like an immense hog. And then Cindy comes in, she says, Pete's on the phone.
That's Peter Clement, the Prime Minister.
Yeah, Pete's actually a really good mate of mine.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, no, he comes to training sometimes. He's actually a pretty good goal sweeper. Anyway, so, yeah, Pete, he says, Toby, he thinks my name's Toby, see? He says, how would you like to spread your message of team spirit and cooperation across this fractured nation? How would you like to really make a difference in these desperate times?
What did you say?
Yeah, right, yeah.
So, Jeff, the question on everyone's lips is, what in God's name are you doing here?
Well, after the success of my debut work and all the people that I've touched, I knew that I had a career in theatre. Yeah? I've always been an admirer of Tommy from afar. So when my manager phoned and said that I'd been offered the gig as director, I was ecstatic. I whipped my trousers off and got straight to work.
Why did you do that?
I do all my best work with my trousers off.
Yeah, I've been told that too.
No, I wouldn't say so.
Right, Tommy, sorry, would you just give us a sense of what the show is actually about?
It's about how hard it's been for me and some of the struggles that I've faced. It's like really getting to the heart of how tough it is to be me. I call it Tommy Harris, Jesus, that was hard.
Catchy. We actually have some clips of the process of the show. Would you mind telling us what's going on here?
Yeah, so the show is built around two things that are very important to me. It mixes scenes from my life as well as epic fantasy retellings of scenes from my life.
Oh, bloody hell.
But Dad, you promised you'd come to my graduation.
I'm sorry, son. You're an embarrassment.
But Dad, you promised you'd come to my graduation.
Back, demon! Back to the hells! Back to the hells!
Philippa, what's it been like co-starring with Tommy Harris?
I've always dreamed of
There's more.
treading the boards at medium-scale regional theatres, Megan. And for once, this show really gives me something to sink my teeth into.
What's different about this show then?
Tommy, Mr. Harris's show really lets me show my tremendous range as an actor. I've always suffered from typecasting, forced to play the same tired characters in every god-awful yogurt advert or godforsaken soap opera or, God forbid, a pantomime. But, you know, this show has really let me just go there.
Jeff, the viewers at home will be dying to know exactly what is it that you bring to the show.
Oh, good question. I think these guys would agree with me when I say that it's my steady hand on the tiller, my arm round the shoulder approach that's really brought the production from strength to strength.
Absolutely right. Jeff's contributions are immeasurable. He was our rock.
Can you give us a sneak peek of anything else that might be in the show?
Yeah, all sorts, yeah.
We've got lots of exclusive first-hand experiences of Tommy's time in the underground sports board scene.
And some epic fantasy retellings of Tommy's time in the underground sports board scene.
You'll never take the sacred pass! And am I right in saying this was officially commissioned by the government?
Yeah, all paid for by the taxpayer, which, you know, to be honest, was actually a lifesaver, really.
I think it's fair to say that without Advance's support, we'd have had to cut the finale.
Which, frankly, would have been a travesty.
Oh, God, Jesus Christ!
Goodness, and you do this every night.
For what?
Death.
And the public are footing the bill, are they?
Too bloody right they are. Between the cost of my tour bus and the dry cleaning of my ties, I'm barely scraping a profit here.
Amazing. And where can the folks at home come and see this for themselves?
We're performing all over the nation.
And people can see it for absolutely free, all courtesy of Advance. Isn't that incredible, Jeremy?
Yes, it's unbelievable.
Well, thank you all so much for coming. Next time we see you, no doubt you'll have taken our jobs.
Yeah.
That's all we have time for tonight. Join us tomorrow when I'll be interviewing the world's most attractive horse. I'm Jeremy Donson.
And I'm Megan Wolfe. And from all of us here, have a peaceful night.
That's the ads. Let's get reset for tomorrow, please.
Hey, we must stop bumping into each other like this, eh?
Hi, I'm
Oh, Jeremy is not happy.
And I haven't had children. Not yet, anyway. But it doesn't take a parent to tell you that what a child needs is to be wanted and loved. Sadly, however, these days, this sort of conversation happens far too often. So, you know, Brad, this past fortnight has really been amazing, but I'm afraid I have something to tell you. I'm pregnant.
But how can that be? You told me you're on the pill.
Not all contraception is 100% reliable, so I guess now we have to get married.
But we've only been on 5 dates. I don't even know you, Julie.
Janet.
Marriage and children seem to be a pretty big decision to make in a wine bar, Janet.
There has to be a better way. Now there is, young lovers. Now you can be doubly safe with these. This is Responsibility, the world's first male contraceptive pill. Now men don't have to worry about difficult things like commitment anymore. In our almost entirely successful human trials, we found that there were only occasional side effects, so I'm allowed to say they're safe to take. Responsibility, because children shouldn't be by accident. And let's face it, condoms suck.
Okay, so that was the end of the advert. So okay, there were some slight issues with the interference at the beginning. By the way, we've got a lovely CFAX and teletext thing going on now, which is very, very welcome indeed. Can get some more info if I want to. Okay, so there was a slight issue roundabout here where I kind of forgot to, you know, fiddle with the interference knob. So that's all just fine. Editing was just terrible. Okay, Edson could have been stronger too. We did well at the end, and time starts moving forward. We might have more updates on my mother who, okay, 20 days later, she might not be doing so hot these days. So, Susie we know is grown up, as the title says, and she's been studying recently. Why do we get the feeling that, yes, under the circumstances, she might be thinking of, heading elsewhere? Because she's going to still have her passport, because we're not a wealthy family. Some of the wealthiest passports were confiscated. Ours weren't, hence why Chris wanted mine in the first place. So, if she wants to go, presumably, she can go. So, Alex, I believe you had a few words. Sam pointedly asked, nodding towards Susie. Okay, what's going on here? Ah, she got into med school. Oh, that's lovely. That's just absolutely flipping lovely. So, congratulations. You probably worked really hard for that. That's a really good thing. So, congrats. We're going to miss you. Okay, so she's just off to a really, really good school of some description to learn something really valuable. So this is fine. Alright, and, Mrs. Are you going somewhere? Okay. Hang on. You're not getting rid of me yet, but I'll probably have to leave when I get my first posting. I mean, we knew that, right? You know, you have to do placements in hospitals to be a doctor. That seems pretty reasonable. So she's staying for now, but she might be moving on soon. Okay, keep an eye on medicine and medical business, because that might affect my daughter. And day 178, a sign of things to come. So, shopping is now even more of a chore. We get almost everything we need, so okay. Food shortages were mentioned, and, okay, are we looking at, a blockade on the roads here? Looking in the background, that sounds, not great, potentially. So the queue is actually due to, checkpoints. Okay, so, yes, okay, so now we've got checkpoint people. Maybe we just start, you know, basically assuming everything the government does is going to work out badly, and just, you know, start speaking out against it under all circumstances. That seems like the better option, because we've now got 2 checkpoints on the roads. And they want to see the team membership cards that were supposed to be voluntary, but they're not. Okay, I've presumably got a driving license. Can I just show you one of them? And, okay. So now if you don't have one, you've got to sign up to one at checkpoints. Right, no, let's push back a little bit here. So, they're not, but there's loads of benefits. And, no, not something I want right now. I'm going to see what happens if you push back against advance. How optional are we talking? Okay. Obviously, I can't make you sign up, but I'd strongly recommend you do. And soon. Okay. So, this is... I mean, what's actually on the cards? If it's literally just a form of ID, that's fine. But I'm guessing that, there's more information that you're giving up than that. So, okay. Also writing down something. He made a note of my license plate, didn't he? Interesting. Okay, so, right. Just assume everything's gonna be bad. Assume all things are bad. And there's some form of gala I'm supposed to go to. It's mandatory. Better do that. I kinda need this job to, you know, not die. So, okay. It's gonna be fine. I'm pretty good at... I'm terrible at my job. I'm just flipping broadcast static. And, ooh. An awards night? I'm guessing I'm not getting an award. Like, after I broadcast that static, that's not gonna happen. Oh, I've been sat under the stairs with an obscured view of the stage. Okay, so I definitely... Yeah, slackers and about to be fined, people. Right. Okay. That's less good. Better, you know, behave at least a little bit. Jeremy Donaldson wins Outstanding Contribution to Journalism, but Megan actually... I called Megan Jenny in the last part. Sorry, Jenny was the other person. She was the backstage handler. So, okay, sorry, Megan has apparently accepted it on his behalf. Okay, interesting. Also, community cohesion officer floating nearby. Possibly because I refused to join up to the team. Might well be. And as people are discussing politics, maybe best just stay out of it. I've had a few to drink. I don't know these people. let's not, you know, take a stand one way or the other when I don't know who's floating around. Okay, we've got ourselves a heat wave. Right, power everything up, including the fan, obviously. And oh, I thought so.
You can keep them cool with the fan, provided you point it at the correct valve. There's a power switch on the base. The damn thing keeps turning off occasionally for no good reason, and you'll have to turn it back on. So, keep your eyes on the gauge at the front, and keep your ears open in case you hear the valve sizzling. Don't let the trip switch blow, or you'll have to wait before the power can be restarted, which can have a negative effect on the quality of the news. The jury's still out on you, Alex, so let's try and stay on top of things.
Hey, we're working on it.
Okay,
You've got someone to hose down the sun, have you?
Yes, they've just strapped on their wax wings.
Right.
Classical illusions are no substitute for air conditioning.
Nice.
You know, I genuinely thought you'd be in a better mood today. She's not even here.
Yes, but he is. Our gun-toting handler.
Who, Andy?
I don't know what the fuck his name is, do I?
He's here to keep us safe from people like Disrupt.
More like keep us in line.
Ooh, Jeremy's angry, and I've got to keep an eye on the
10
flipping.
seconds, everybody.
Yeah, the flipping
So,
thing.
actual real news tonight.
Well, the world's on fire. That good enough for you? Going in 5, 4, 3.
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main headlines tonight. Siege mentality. The World Council today established a military blockade to enforce the unjust and punitive sanctions now entering their 10th week.
Ooh.
And a statement from team headquarters...
I don't know which one's which, to be honest.
Prime Minister Julia Salisbury issued a commanding response to this unprovoked escalation.
The regrettable decision taken by the World Council this morning have left the citizens of this country isolated and fearful. But Advance have prepared for this day. Our stockpiles are large, our wealth is unfathomable, and we will defend our citizens with every last breath from this latest brutal and calculated act of war. We are with you, one team, indivisible and strong. Thank you.
She's not looking great, is she? Oh dear.
Taking the plunge? Far be it for us to be cynical, but it's beginning to seem like the wedding of a certain celebrity power couple is more about attention than it is about love. As this leaked photo shows, the naturals of heartthrob Johnny Handsleeves and art snob Tiffany Lamore were far from conventional when they finally tied the knot this week. Eyewitnesses claim that the fuse was lit sometime during the vows, and that his entrance to the reception, through 3 windows and an exterior wall, was particularly memorable. In it to win it, exciting news from Advance today with the announcement of a new monthly prize draw for all team membership card holders. Every month, lucky winners from across the country will be picked at random to receive what Team HQ are describing as unique prizes worth more than money used to be.
Oh, if we eliminated money, we might have cancelled. Oh.
And if it's lucky winners that
Right there. Listen for that noise. Okay.
it looks like pretty soon everyone's going to have one. Hard pill to swallow. Throngs of men take the streets in response to the release of new pharmaceutical responsibility. Remington Smith's revolutionary male contraceptive pill first hit our shelves earlier this month, and as a result, scores of men have been queuing around the block and around the clock ever since.
Oh wait, hang on, no, I own them. I own shares there, let's support that.
Report that they are unable to meet the demand for the wildly popular drug, with some customers camping outside for upwards of 72 hours. Satisfied CEO Sophia Remington says they've scaled up production and will soon have manufactured enough to satisfy even the randiest of consumers. Leaders shipping out. The trapped scientists undertaking a bold escape from Dante's taint have revealed which of their 2 erstwhile leaders will spearhead their journey to freedom. While throughout their careers it's been clear that Doctors Wong and Swartzborg and Horgensford have worked best together, it seems one of them is now going to be taking a back seat. Ingrid has always been the tempered coolant to David's flagellized metal, so it's no surprise that with the unexpected challenges the team have faced, they chose her methodical and effective approach to getting the team home safely. Critics, however, have speculated that her strategy may be delayed, as her name takes much longer to say. Life during wartime. As if we didn't have enough aggressors on our borders, internal problems are growing for the government as radical activist group Disrupt caused chaos in Parliament Park last night. Scuffles broke out after the protests, resulting in multiple arrests and the injury of 3 community cohesion officers. Advance have yet to comment. The reckless fire will certainly be remembered by all those who have seen these striking images. As their actions escalate, people across the country are asking themselves, who are Disrupt? And what exactly do they want? Other than a new box of matches, of course. All this, and I'll be talking to some people with fascinating medical conditions, as well as one of the contenders in this year's Feline Football Championship, and her proud owner. That's all up on tonight's National Nightly News.
Alright, and we've got things. Okay, this time don't let that get out of hand while we're doing the thing, it's fine. Just handle this, it's all okay. Just keep an eye on the bloody... Thought so. I thought you might try and sneak that up on me. Okay, just everything's fine. Are you fine? We good? Yep, that's cooling off. It's bloody hot, apparently. What's going
Give
on
both
here
me
as
any
well?
more ammunition.
Yes.
Sorry, I forgot to do the thing.
But first tonight, our team of correspondents has been dispatched to every corner of the country to see how the people of this great nation of ours are coping with this unprecedented hot weather. First, let's go to Megan Wolfe in Shining-on-Sea to see what the scientific community has to say. Megan, how's the weather there?
It's absolutely glorious, Jeremy. Thank you for asking. I'm here with Dr. Anna Burns of the University of Princeton. Are you enjoying the weather as much as I...
Get the fan
You're part of
on.
the team carrying
Yes,
out
I
a
know,
study
I'm trying to...
in this unbelievable heat, is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, we want to be able to reassure the public once and for all that there's absolutely nothing to worry about and that they can enjoy their sunstroke and fossil fuels in peace.
You sound very confident about that.
Oh, very much so. I can say without any hesitation, there's really no cause for any concern here. I've actually left my car running.
So tell us about this experiment.
Well, we take data from weather stations from all over the world, along with atmospheric samples, and we take all that and we feed it into this state-of-the-art computer, and very soon we'll be getting a high-tech readout of the results.
Blimey, that sounds very fancy.
I should just say, none of this would be possible without the generous support of Remington's Fist. This is all thanks to their unrivaled investment in our future, and may I just say, complimentary personal anecdote. Oh, here we go. And, as expected, everything is absolutely fucked. Hang on. This can't be right.
Right, but obviously you said a second ago that everything is absolutely fine, so...
But actually, under concern level, it just says, why, God, why?
We should be celebrating these wonderful results, I think.
There we are. We need to evolve gills within 40 years.
You look thirsty.
Here it just says, shit.
Look at you. This is meant to be a celebration. Can't go around looking like that.
Shit.
There you go, much better. Can I just say thank you again to Sophia Remington for providing all of this.
Everyone, we don't have long. Time is running
out. Absolutely right. That is all we have time for.
Abandon hope and return to the forest.
I mean, it's nice for scientists to be, putting it in layman's terms for once.
I'd like to thank Dr. Burns for just one opinion on the climate.
The sea will reclaim us all.
There you have it, Jeremy. Proof, if proof be need be, that everything is just fine. I'm Megan Wolfe, here with science. Back to you.
Megan Wolfe there, attempting to do some actual news. Next, heads over to Robin Short, who's in Scritchford with some of the winners of this week's team membership lottery. Robin?
Thanks, Jeremy. I'm here in Scritchford with Gary Failsafe, a janitor at the local school, and Amelia Jackhammer, an aspiring poet. Both of you were drawn at random from those who hold team membership cards to receive this week's amazing prize. How do you feel?
Filled with fervent euphoria.
Yeah, good, yeah.
And all that we had to do was fill in a quick form or two.
Wow, that sounds so convenient. But we're all dying to know, what have you won?
That's right, Robin. I've won dinner with Julia Salisbury at one of the capital's top restaurants.
Ooh, swanky.
And I've been invited to Peter Clement's house to help him dredge the gutter in.
That's absolutely terrific. You must both be over the moon.
I've written a poem about it.
So, can you tell me about the moment when you first heard the news?
Well, I was battling against a particularly difficult floater, probably one of the sixth formers, when the headmaster came and found me.
I was involved in a similarly brutal conflict with a particularly arduous stanza.
So you were both polishing turds?
No, I don't like to polish them. I like to keep them intact for my collection.
Oh. How unexpected.
I don't polish turds. I write poetry.
Potato. So, Gary...
Do you think Peter Clement's going to let me keep the contents of his downpipe?
There's no harm in asking, I suppose.
Would you like to hear one?
No, thank you. Gary, when you signed up for team membership, was it in hopes of winning the lottery, or were there other reasons?
I like a flutter, of course, but no, the boss said I had to sign up to keep coming into school.
Very sensible. It's important to know who we're trusting around our children.
Oh, I have an unpublished book of sonnets about children. Perhaps you'd like to hear one.
No!
Or an anthology of haikus on the death of innocence.
I'd rather hear about Gary's turd collection.
Really? I thought you might say that.
Oh.
Are you all right?
Yes, it's coming. It's inspiration and it's delicious.
Right you are.
Today on the show there's no news. Just a man who keeps multiple poos.
Here, this big one's my favourite. See how it's fibrous, really lovely texture.
Would you encourage other people to enter for their chance to win?
If it's colour you're looking for, take a gander at old Blue Eyes here.
The national news lost its way when it covered some crap on a tray.
Some of these are quite rare.
Maybe that was unfair.
And that's all we have time for today. Back to you, Jeremy.
Thanks, Robin. What a lucky pair they are. And finally in this segment, it's over to Patrick Bannon, who's gone to the smelliest town in the country to see how the unprecedented weather is affecting the locals. Patrick?
Hello there, Jeremy. Hello, yes. I'm here live in Grizzleford, which has recently voted the smelliest town in the country. And I have to say that, you know, in this heat, the smell really is. I mean, it's something else. Barry Lardons, mate, you've lived here your whole life. How'd you put up with the stink?
Well, we're just all very proud of our achievement, to be honest with you. You can tell that, look at him, proud as punch. Do you know what it's like, son, being the second smelliest town? No, I don't. Living in the shadow of Arseminster. Those smug fucks. But who's laughing now, eh?
Say what, not me, that's for sure. So what happened, mate?
Right, the good people from Remington's Fist came in and saved the day with their factory.
You're talking, of course, about the newly built flour factory.
Yeah, they gave us this big presentation on jobs and growth. But as soon as we heard about the stench, we paid them whatever they wanted to put it here.
Does the stink not affect your life in every way, Barry? I mean, perhaps if you're filling in a tax return or completing the physical act of love.
It's strong at first, but you get used to it after several weeks of your first bout of sickness. The judges were very impressed.
So, what's sickness?
Oh, that's nothing to worry about. It takes a few minutes before you develop any symptoms. Now, folk are saying something about the production line and how they dump carcasses directly into the water main, but I think it's probably a few valves on the high street.
On the high street? Should I see a doctor? What are the symptoms?
Well, the first one is asking stupid questions. Then folk experience a loss of inhibition.
Fuck off, do they? When was the last time you brushed your teeth, you stinking old tramp?
Next according is a period of randomly bursting into song, followed immediately by delusions of grandeur.
Oh, that's not really a problem. I've never sung in my life. Hello, it's sexy Patrick Bannon, and he's wearing sexy shorts now. Oh my God, look at me. I'm like a stallion. I'm gorgeous. Why didn't you tell me? I should take my shirt off. You know what? I'll even let you touch me if you want.
That will be the bout of undeserved self-confidence.
Love the Bannon. Feel the Bannon. Oh, man. What's the point?
And the ennui. All that's left now are the hallucinations and unconsciousness.
Nana Dottie? Was that you? Why are you made out of elbows? You know I don't eat opinions.
Oh, don't worry, folks. Once he wakes up, he'll be just fine. We'll just find a place to stick him where it won't matter how many times he evacuates his bowels. Right, that's all here from Grizzleford, a town that's really making a stink. I'm Barry Lardons. Back to you, Jeremy.
That was very good.
Right.
Thanks, Barry. With a naval blockade being set up around our coastline as we speak, when we come back, I'll be talking to 3 members of the general public who appear to be here purely for medical reasons. Don't go away. Unless, of course, you've got something better to do. We'll be back after these messages.
Now, what was Jeremy saying? Because there was a lot of chatter going on backstage.
Well, that was stupid, even for you.
I don't care. It's done. I am done. It's 200 fucking degrees in here, and I can't do this anymore.
You say this every Friday.
I've done something.
What do you mean? Jeremy?
My mic is still...
Roller coaster.
Ooh.
We've got none of that, but I can tell you what we do.
You can expect the government to request some censoring during the next section. Obviously, we can't force you to do it, but it would make me and the powers that be very happy if you just comply.
With all the
That's what I'm
facilities
talking
you'd
about.
expect.
Cat football?
Water.
We should be doing an interview with the War Minister, or a report
Hey,
from Grantham
shoot.
Downs. Even the weather's all fucking relevant to
With our
this.
fantastic live entertainment, actual activities, legally edible food
Exactly,
and air,
which is what
you're
people's
bound
minds
to
should be very
find the
much
perfect
on.
family getaway at
So
Bumlets.
fucking hot.
Located just a few minutes drive from local attractions like Bum Sands and The Hole.
That's it. This is just
10 seconds. Get over yourself, Jeremy. Why don't you stop feeling sorry for yourself for 5,
Bumlets. We'll take the whole
5,
family.
4, 3.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News with me, your host, Jeremy Donaldson. Later, we'll be talking to the captain of the territory's first cat football team, Professor Pumpkin. But first, I'm joined by 3 guests with some balmy bodily behaviours. Joining me is a woman who's been hiccuping for over 9 months. Isn't that right, Miss Piercy?
Yes, that's right.
Yes. Tell us, what brought all this on?
Well, it's all a bit of a blur, Jeremy, to be totally frank with you. See, I was watching your show and I remember seeing the news about the election, and it hasn't stopped since.
Fascinating stuff. Also here is Frankie Steampipe. Perhaps you could explain to us exactly what your physiological foreboil is.
I'm here to say it's high time people like me were respected. We're constantly overlooked in the workplace, we're whispered about on buses, and we're asked politely to leave children's birthday parties. And it's disgusting. I'm sorry, my bowels have comic timing.
And finally, I'm joined by a man who answers every question honestly, even when it isn't aimed at him. How do you cope with that, Mr. Truman?
With a combination of booze, self-hatred, and hardcore pornography.
Is that right?
Not according to my therapist.
Well, in that case, let's speak to Rose. Tell me, how does the hiccuping impact you?
I get shushed a lot, which is hard. At work, they've asked me to stop answering the phones. It's really affected my confidence.
Well, I find it really fucking irritating.
Do people tend to believe your story?
Fuck no.
Actually, I've been surprised at how much support I've received.
And Frankie, why have you come here today?
Because my wife left me and I was hoping that the fame would win her back.
We've started a group for people with ailments deemed broadly comical by society. It's called Take Us Seriously.
That's right. And we bloody well mean it.
And who's joined so far?
A bunch of fucking losers.
It's just us so far.
And how much success have you had?
Well, we've seen some real positive changes.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but it's been a runaway success.
Shit all. Not a single person come to our fun run, and all of our leaflets fell in the canal.
Well, Miss Piercy, some people are saying your condition was actually caused by the shocking events of that night. What do you think?
Come down, Mr. Donaldson, that's absolute rubbish.
What it'd be like to have a pair of tits.
Could you? I'm sorry, it's very hot. What was I thinking?
That you're a team fuck puppet?
No.
Or a sellout cunt?
Apologies. Just a reminder that he can't help it. And hey, if this isn't live television, then what is it?
Fuckfest of propaganda masquerading as journalism.
Right, Frankie, Rose, tell us, how can the viewers get involved with your cause.
Yes, we're holding a sponsored run in Capital Park next weekend. It's called the No Smiles 13 Miles.
No, it's called the No Laugh Half. What did I say before the show?
That it was the team pulling Jeremy Donaldson's strings.
No!
Oh, wow! We may have to end that there, unfortunately. What a harmless bit of fun.
Steady on! This is exactly what I'm talking about. We demand respect.
Yes, well, later, I'll be talking to Professor Pumpkin, a ginger tabby with a world-class pair of penalty paws. Is that really necessary?
No, it isn't. Let go. Not you.
Unhand him at once! Enough! That's enough! Enough!
Oh, flap.
What are you doing?
Trying not to piss myself.
Alex, cut.
Don't you dare! Don't you fucking dare cut to the ads before I tell you to. Now, you in the broadcast centre, Bozeman's little scapegoat, you listen to me.
Okay.
You cut to the ads before I tell you to, and I will kill every single person in this studio.
I'm not allowed.
I am thinking about what I'm doing. I've been thinking about it for a long time. We all should be. Christ, it's so fucking hot in here. Do you remember when we used to do the real news? Before it was all lottery winners, bloody cat football. We are on the brinks of a siege, the likes of which the world hasn't seen in hundreds of years. The enemy is at the gates, and I'm stuck here talking to these three fucking idiots.
Nah, you can swear, it's fine.
I think my hiccups have stopped.
You three, get the fuck out of my studio. Go on, now, go, before I change my mind.
The tiny fart at the end.
Jenny, lock the doors. Jenny, lock the doors.
Yes, Jeremy.
Now. Good. Yes. Now. Good. Right then. Yes. You in the broadcast centre. Alex, you listen to me. You pay attention. Now, I'm sure you've already loaded up exactly what you're going to play in the commercial, but today is going to be a little bit different. Look to your right. Yes, really. Look to your right. There is a VHS tape, and I want you to load it into one of the machines. And when I say so, and not before, you play it. You've got about 15 seconds, so I wouldn't waste any time.
It's him, don't worry.
All cameras.
All upstairs appreciate there may be lives at stake. They want you to know the official policy of this channel is that we do not negotiate with terrorists. Just think before you act.
It's either one-sided, or for now, we're going to show the other side for a bit. For a bit of fucking balance. Like the good old days. Alex, play the fucking tape.
It's an A, right? Yes, it's an A.
I don't want to hurt any of you. If I see anything I don't like, I will not hesitate to start.
Alex, you're going to get me in trouble with that. Let's hope you made the right call.
Reset the system for the third second.
We are. You've seen our symbols on your walls. You've heard them talk about us on the news. We are Disrupt. We are the Resistance. It's time you knew the truth. You know Advance are lying to you. You know the elderly are not a burden. You know the rich were not all evil. And you know the team membership card is an ID card, no matter what they try to tell you. But why should you trust us? Another faceless organization. A shadowy figure with a distorted voice. You've seen it so many times in the movies. Well, this is not a movie.
It's that guy.
My name is Alan James. I used to try and shock people for a living, for entertainment. But now we live in a time where perhaps you need to be shocked. Perhaps we need to wake up. Advance are coming for our freedoms. They are coming for the fruits of our labours. They will take our wealth. They will euthanize our parents and smiling throughout. They will turn our children against us if we voice our concerns. But you don't have to accept it. A great many people already won't. You can resist. You can disrupt. Find us. Talk with us. Join us. It isn't hard. We're everywhere.
I have speech, good. But this was unexpected. This was unexpected.
So what now, Jeremy? So what now, Jeremy?
It was supposed to be your day off. It was supposed to be your day off.
Please, don't do any more stupid things today.
How long? how long, Jenny?
We're already live.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News. Joining me, unexpectedly, for I very much imagine will be my last broadcast, are two new guests. Jenny works here at the National Nightly News and is someone I consider, well, a friend. And next to her is... What's your name?
Andy.
Andy's a policeman. Only we don't call him that anymore. He's a community cohesion official.
Officer.
Sorry?
It's community cohesion officer, CCO.
And how's that feel, Andy? Being rebranded?
It's good. it's not about confrontation anymore. You know, the force had its fair share of problems. The team doesn't have as many.
But it still has some.
I couldn't say.
Couldn't or wouldn't?
I don't know what you want me to say.
Christ, you're fucking useless, aren't you? We'll come back to you later. Jenny?
I don't want to be on the news, Jeremy.
That's perfectly understandable. Who'd want to do this? Jenny, why did you join the National Nightly News team?
I always wanted to work in news.
Yes, but why specifically this programme? The National Nightly News.
It was the news everyone trusted.
Was?
Is. Do you really want to quibble semantics at gunpoint?
Is there something else you'd rather discuss?
There is a great big Alan James-sized elephant in the room you seem to be ignoring.
What do you mean?
I saw your face when that hood came down. You didn't know, did you?
It's about the message, not the messenger.
Like I said, you didn't know.
No, I didn't know. The people I met were with, he wasn't there. I didn't know it was Alan James.
I'm sorry, but seriously, Alan fucking James. You're flushing your life down the toilet for... God, I love you, Jeremy, but...
He's a good speaker. He's popular in the country.
That right?
Look, forget Alan James. There is still something deeply wrong. And you know it, Jenny. And you know it, Andy. And you at home, you know it too. Meanwhile, I'm interviewing a guest who stinks of shit. Patrick is paddling about in shit. And Robin is literally interviewing someone who collects the fucking stuff. I mean, it's not sophisticated, but what a metaphor. We are sleepwalking our way into oppression, and the news isn't saying anything. We're not saying anything.
Says who? Alan fucking James.
What are all those scientists working on at Grantham Downs? What are they testing underground at Altergrave? Andy, your turn. Make yourself fucking useful. How many people have you brought in for consultations just because they weren't carrying or didn't have team membership cards?
Oh, well, there's other forms of identification that we will accept.
For how long?
We're just here to help.
Then why do you need these? Not really help when it's offered at gunpoint, is it, Andy? Let me demonstrate it for you. Let me help you. You eat these cards with my notes on it, and you'll probably digest a fact. That'd be helpful, wouldn't it, Andy? Knowing a fact?
What? I don't understand.
Do you want my help, Andy?
Yes, whatever you say, yes.
Security are here, Jeremy.
Eat it.
What?
Eat the fucking news, Andy, or I'll force it down your fucking throat.
Jeremy, stop.
Go on.
Really?
Eat it. Eat it, you fucking bully.
Jeremy, stop. They will kill you. Please, don't make me watch that.
Of course. You're right. Sorry. Sorry, everyone. You can put the card down now, Andy. You can go now. You too, Jenny. Fuck off over there. And nearly done. All cameras on me. This new regime of ours is so seductive. I understand that. But before we all hand off our freedoms, should we ask to whom we're handing them over? Don't you want to know what's being done in your name? How many people were transitioned last month? A record high. Again, if you care. Shouldn't someone ask Advance how they plan to deal with this blockade? How many years or months of supplies we have? Why aren't we asking these questions instead of, whose shit is this? There's a cat backstage dressed as a fucking goalie, for Christ's sake. He's even got the little gloves. Anyway, that's why I arranged for you all to see that broadcast from the last break. I didn't know it was going to be him, but I guess that just about sums it up. We are all up Ship Creek with a paddle made of Alan fucking James. Christ, it's also fucking pointless. I was going to quit tonight. Take a holiday. Try something else. Out of the limelight. Maybe try having a relationship. I hear they're nice. Never tried it. I loved the news. And now, well...
God, Jeremy, don't!
I've tried my best to be honest with you, but this just isn't the news anymore. And I'm sorry.
Alex,
think of the consequences.
Cut to the ads!
I've let you down.
Please, we can't show this. Cut to the ads!
My name's Jane.
Now! No. Do it now!
No.
If you can.
Do it now!
Somehow. And I envy you if you can. Have a peaceful night.
Jeremy!
Okay, now we can have an ad. Which ad did I pick, by the way? I don't know what the RS Rainbow is. Oh good, I own shares in them!
CEO of Remington's Fist. And I'm here today to take you on a trip to tomorrow with the brand new RS Rainbow, a home computer entertainment system with sophisticated graphics and breathtaking sound.
Remington's Fist.
These graphics are amazing, Brad. That actually looks a bit like a real tank.
Oh, gee, Janet, what a time to be alive. Surely games can't get any better than this. And that sound.
It's like a digital symphony, Brad. Are they playing more than one note at the same time?
Up to 4, Janet. 4 notes at the same time. That's enough for a chord.
But, Sophia, surely a home computer entertainment system needs games. Damn straight. And with the RS Rainbow, there's an incredible 3 of them. You could be solving puzzles in Zark, or jumping about in Twitchy Builder, or even taking on your friends in our incredible 2-player game Fighting. Yes, you heard me. 2 players at the same time. The RS Rainbow has a luxurious 32K of memory, so you can have whatever game you can dream of. I'm Sophia Remington, and I can't wait to turn on, load up, and as the cool kids say, zone out.
Alright, so, Not for Broadcast just got, heavy. Like, really heavy. Jeremy's gone, and, there's still one more day to go, in episode 2, so, okay. That's enough for now, ladies and gentlemen. Join me on Thursday for the fallout of what we just flippin' saw, because, oh my, where do we go from, all of this, and, how is Megan gonna react to that? Okay, more to come, ladies and gentlemen, but bloody hell, this is getting interesting right here, so hopefully you join me for that. But in the meantime, I've been John, this has been Many a True Nerd, and this has been Not for Broadcast. Thank you very much, and goodbye. I've created a small problem in my road system, which is, it's literally impossible for anyone to ever go back into town. And this building shall be where we produce our zebras. And this much taller building next door is naturally where we produce the giraffes. Does anyone remember how the road system went? I think it was something like this.